Johnson has raised more than $2 million, and of that money, she has nearly $500,000 on hand. Her endorsements include U.S. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Dallas City Councilman Adam Bazaldua, Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, and Planned Parenthood Action Fund. We start our conversation with Johnson asking why she thinks voters should keep her in Washington.
Well, I think that what I've seen on the ground from voters is people need people who are going to be effective. I have a strong record, both in the state legislature and up here in Congress, of actually filing meaningful legislation and actually getting the job done and getting stuff passed and working on that. You know, whereas my opponent had 6 years in office here with a Democratic trifecta, a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic presidency, and didn't pass anything. So, you know, people need real results. As some women came up to me at the polls, you know, during the primary, I'm with you because my life's hard and you're actually doing something about it. And so I think people see that on the ground, and, you know, we're working really hard for folks up here.
Allred finished about 10 points ahead of you in the first round. There were two other people in the race. This is a new ball game, as they say. Where do you see your strength in terms of getting out your base? What are you focusing on?
You know, ground game has always been one of my strengths as a candidate. If you look back at every election that I've ever had, we have a huge volunteer base, people who believe in me and the results that we've obtained. And I've got people out in droves, knocking doors, talking to voters because they believe in the process, and not just because I'm paying them to do so. I have tons of volunteers who are very passionate about me representing them. And I think people catch on to that. And we have a ground game that is far superior to his.
Because of the Crockett Tallarico race and Crockett being from Dallas County, I don't know what your estimates are, but they may have been 30 to 40,000 people extra.
42,000.
40. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So if they don't come back, and there's not a lot of reason to think most of them will, because this is a runoff, does that help you or help Allred?
I think that really benefits us, you know, because again, multiple polls and our conversations with voters really show that when people are informed, that they know reliable Democratic voters, people who pay attention to Democratic politics in an acute way, know our record differentials, are really lining up to support me in vast numbers. And so we think that really benefits us because people know who's done the work. People know who's out there filing stuff to address affordability. I have bills on that. I have bills on housing. I've supported the raise of minimum wage. I've been fighting for health care access all throughout my time in office, and voters know that. And so I think that informed voter really benefits me.
He had a good reputation among Democrats as a congressman. At least it propelled him to a Senate run. He did things like the VA hospital in Garland, helped with that effort. So when you talk about the differences between you two and getting things done, what exactly are you talking about? What are the differences?
Yeah, when he ran for Senate, he became a Republican. He started voting with Republicans, and he abandoned his Democratic values because it thought it would be politically expedient for him. You know, he voted for the Laken Riley Act, which abdicates due process for our immigrant communities. And now, today, we have a bill on the floor that I'm about to go vote for. I'm vote against, which is about regulating charitable bail. You know, he voted to limit and to regulate companies who provide charitable bail for nonviolent offenders who can't afford their bail. And that's just wrong. You know, criminal justice reform needs to happen. We have a disproportionate amount of Black and brown people in our jails because they can't afford bail for nonviolent crimes. And as a result, that just hurts everybody.
Colin Allred has made, as you know, your stock trades while in Congress and issue in his campaign. He's called it icky and criticized you for those trades, including trades involving Palantir and ICE vendor. How do you respond to that? Is that an issue?
His attacks are very disingenuous and wrong. You know, I'm an original co-author of the Congressional Stock Trading Ban. It's no secret I had a very successful profession before I came to Congress. And I had equity investments. And I made the thoughtful decision to divest of all of my actively traded accounts. I had a third-party money manager who managed all of that to show leadership on tackling corruption. It's not something I had to do. I did it voluntarily. So he's trying to create this aspect that's not true. And with respect to the Palantir issue, I didn't even know I had the stock. When I realized that we sold it, I made $90. He's trying to create this impression that we made millions of dollars on Palantir, which is absolutely a lie, and it's false. It is not true. And the fact that he keeps peddling that lie after everyone knows it's a lie, it's documented, you can see all the financial reports, just shows that he has no record of his own to run on. And he's trying to smear wrongfully a good Democrat to elevate his own self, because his campaign is not about anything that he's done. Where is he touting, I did this for you, I achieved this for you after 6 years in office? There's not anything there.